Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. President Bola Tinubu has directed the immediate settlement of 342 million naira as an outstanding electricity bill due to the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. The president's directive follows the reconciliation of accounts between the State House Management and AEDC. The AEDC had on Monday said it will disconnect electricity in the presidential villa and 86 federal government ministries, departments, and agencies over the 47.20 billion naira outstanding debt as of December 2023. The publication shows that the State House owed 923 million naira in bills, a figure that presidency refuted Tuesday. President Bola Tinubu has announced the appointment of Hafsat Abubakar Bakari to lead the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit as its Director and Chief Executive Officer. The announcement of the new appointment came through a statement from Ajuri Ngelale, the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity. Bakari replaces Modi Botuku, who was relieved of his job by Tinubu in June 2023. Bakari's appointment is, however, pending her confirmation by the Senate. Vice President Kashim Shettima has revealed the federal government's intention to revive the Bank of Agriculture through the recapitalization and restructuring efforts, saying the move aims to strengthen Nigeria's agricultural sector and secure national food self-sufficiency. Speaking at the first National Council on Privatization (NCP) meeting in 2024, Vice President Shettima emphasized the Bank of Agriculture's pivotal role in securing national food security. He highlighted the bank's widespread presence with branches in every senatorial district across the country as a key asset in this critical mission. He further alluded to the potential of the Green Imperative project, proposing its integration with the BOA's restructuring plans. The Senate has resolved to probe how the 30 trillion naira ways and means loans of the Central Bank of Nigeria was obtained and spent by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. The Senate stated that the reckless spending of the overdraft collected from the CBN under Godwin Emefiele largely accounted for the food and security crisis the country was currently facing. The ad hoc committee, which will be constituted, will also probe the 10 trillion naira expended on the Anchor Borrower Scheme, the $2.4 billion forex transaction out of the $7 billion obligation made for the purpose, as well as other intervention programs. Similarly, the immediate past Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has vowed to sue the Senate President Godswill Akpabio for alleged defamation. The Senate President had at the Senator Berinada Mpigi's Thanksgiving service in Koroma, Tai local government area, Rivers State, on February 18, stated that President Bola Tinubu's administration did not know the crime to charge Emefiele with. He added that the president inherited an economic mess from the former CBN governor. However, in a letter through his lawyer Matthew Boka SAN addressed to Akpabio, Emefiele demanded an apology in written form and published in the media or be slammed with a 25 billion naira lawsuit. The Senate has kicked against the plans by the Ministry of Power to increase electricity tariff. The Senate also rejected plans to remove subsidy from electricity given the present hardship in the country. The resolution of the Senate followed its consideration and approval of a motion moved by Senator Aminu Abbas, PDP Adamawa Central, during plenary on the need to retain subsidy on electricity in the country for the foreseeable future. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, previously disclosed at a press conference in Abuja that Nigeria was not likely to sustain the current electricity subsidy. He explained that the indebtedness of the country's power sector to electricity generating companies and gas companies had risen to over 3 trillion naira. Operatives of the Edo State Police Command have arrested the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure. Abure was arrested on Wednesday in Benin City, the Edo State capital, on allegations of premeditated attempted murder, amongst other alleged infractions. The Labour Party chairman's arrest followed a petition by the LP youth leader, Comrade Arigbe Aslem. A bill seeking the amendment of the 1999 1999 Constitution to empower governors to appoint state commissioners of police have scaled second reading on the floor of the House of Representatives. In the alteration to the Constitution under consideration, a commissioner of police appointed from among the 7 policemen in the state will head the proposed state police in a long-awaited move to decentralize the Nigerian police force, which has failed to address the spiraling security crisis confronting the country. Leading the debate of the bill, the co-sponsor and member representing Ilorin West and Asa Federal Constituency, Tolani Shagaya, noted that the primary purpose of government as enshrined in Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, is the security and welfare of the citizens. The Abuja Municipal Area Council AMAC has cautioned Abuja residents to pay their taxes and levies to designated AMAC accounts to avoid falling victim of fake revenue collectors. The chairman of the council, Christopher May Kalangu, gave the warning while addressing journalists in Abuja. He frowned at a situation where taxpayers in Abuja preferred to pay cash to fake agents and get a reduction instead of paying to the council's bank account for accountability. May Kalungu emphasized that only taxpayers who presented bank tellers of their payment into the council's account would be accepted. The Department of State Services, DSS, says its attention have been drawn to plans by sections of the organized labor to stage protests between 27th and 28th February 2024 in parts of the country over sundry economic issues. While the service recognizes such action as the legitimate right of the labor movement, it, however, urges the body to shelve the plan in the interest of peace and public order. The DSS further calls on parties to pursue dialogue and negotiation rather than engaging in conduct that could heighten tensions. This is more so that the service is aware that some elements are planning to use the opportunity of the protest to foment crisis and, by extension, widespread violence. The development, without doubt, will worsen the socio-economic situation across the country. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has declared Leno Adesonya, promoter of Sunrise Power and Transmission Limited, wanted for an alleged conspiracy and corrupt offer to public officers. This was disclosed in the notice by the EFCC. Adesonya was mentioned in 3 of the 7 count charges against a former Minister of Power and Steel, Olu Agunloye, who is being prosecuted by the EFCC over the $6 billion Mambila hydropower contract. Agunloye was arraigned on 7 charges bordering on the fraudulent award of a contract and official corruption in January 2024. The Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) has announced its intention to distribute seized rice and other food items in a bid to reduce food security challenges in the country. In line with this vision, the service has launched a strategic anti-smuggling operation and public engagement in its commitment to prevent the unlawful exploitation of vital food resources for individual economic gains. This is contained in a statement signed by the National Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Mewada, in Abuja. He says the items will be certified fit for consumption by relevant agencies and made available to Nigerians nationwide through equitable distribution in areas of operations, adding that the NCS remains resolute in its dedication to safeguarding the nation's food security and advancing the economic well-being of all Nigerians. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Police Command has said it is not aware of the planned nationwide protest by the organized labor. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) had fixed February 27 and 28 for mass protests across the country over the worsening economic hardship. The organized labor have begun mobilizing its members across the country for the nationwide protest. Concerned over the security situation in the nation's capital, the FCT Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Ade stated that operatives of the command would be on ground during the protest to forestall a breakdown of law. She, however, said the command has not been informed of any planned protests in the territory. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, federal government seeks $10 billion to stabilize exchange rate as Naira tumbles. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is a Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On the foreign scene, Russia claims to have captured the village of Krenki on the banks of the Dnipro in what would be the second key breakthrough in a week. Ukraine says this is a falsification of the facts. Meanwhile, Alexander Navalny's death leaves the Russian opposition as Russian soldiers across the front line have described the challenge of holding off a larger and better supplied enemy as military support from West slows. One unit that tried to hold now Russian-controlled Avdiivka was outnumbered 7-1, according to spokesperson for the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. A quick look at our business. The federal government will, for the next 30 years, earn a total of $2.1 trillion for the concession of the 700-megawatt Zungeru hydropower plant. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokocha, in a statement said the concessionaire would pay federal government $70 million per year over the next 3 decades for managing the complex. This brings the estimated revenue to $2.1 trillion for the next 30 years. The transfer of ownership of the Zungeru hydroelectric power plant to the Penstock Limited took place on January 23, 2024, following the settlement of the project's commencement fee on January 5, 2024. The United States has urged the federal government to prioritize investment in agriculture to tackle the prevailing food crisis and the hunger pummeling in the country. The U.S. Charge d'Affaires in Nigeria, David Green, said the leveraging on the abundant agricultural potentials remained a crucial way to boost food security and fast-track Nigeria's socio-economic development, including the creation of job opportunities. Green, who spoke on Wednesday in Akpao, Ekiti, in Ikole Council area of Ekiti State, during a visit by the U.S. Embassy to the 15,000 hectares Abeyewa Farms, a private initiative of the Crystal Holdings, urged Nigeria to harness its abundant arable lands, fertile soil, and favorable weather and endowment to provide food for the citizenry and as well export. He urged the federal and state government to take a cue from the Ekpeyewa farms, which had greatly tapped into the economic potential of large-scale agriculture. The federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, has again raised the exchange rate for cargo clearance to 1,605 naira to $1. This is coming days after the rate rose to 1,515 naira to $1 and later dropped to 1,472 naira to $1. Between January and now, the rate has risen a couple of times. It was moved from 952 naira to $1 in December to 1,356 naira to $1 and was moved to 1,413 naira to $1 before it went to 1,444 naira to $1. The rate moved to 1,515 naira to before finally getting to 1,605 naira to $1. Less than 5 days after it marginally reduced the custom exchange rate from 1,515 naira 48 kobo to 1,472 naira 756 kobo last week, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has again, for the uptent time, increased the rate to 1,605 naira 82 kobo per dollar. The rate, which has already been reflected on the custom portals today, February 21st, 2024, has further dampened the hope of the despondent custom brokers and their importers that the Apex Bank has finally eased its foot on the pedal. Recall that February 16, 2024, the CBN reduced the rate to 1,472 naira 56 kobo per dollar 24 hours after it raised it to 1,515 naira 48 kobo. The about 2-day suspension of operations with respect to lifting of petroleum products by the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, has been called off by the oil transporters. NATO confirmed this in Abuja after the intervention of the federal government through the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Hanneke Lukubiri, as well as the President, NATO Yusuf Othman, told journalists that stakeholders in the downstream oil sector had reached an agreement to increase the freight rate of petroleum transporters and to gradually settle other concerns raised by the tanker operators. The Nigerian federal government is planning to raise $10 billion to improve liquidity in the foreign exchange market. The naira fell to an all-time low of 1,850 naira per dollar at the parallel market. President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, disclosed this at the inaugural Public Wealth Management Conference in Abuja. The Ministry of Finance Incorporated organized the event with the theme Championing Nigeria's Economic Prosperity. The Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Communications, Stanley Nwokocha, explained that the federal government set a goal to raise at least $10 billion in order to increase foreign exchange liquidity, a key ingredient to stabilize the naira and grow the economy. The Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, NOGASA, has attributed the high cost of petroleum product and automotive gas oil, popularly known as diesel, to the drastic rise of the US dollar over the naira. National President of NOGASA, Bennett Korie, made this known while addressing journalists on the state of the nation concerning issues affecting the economy. Kikeloma Okere reports that the association has therefore called on the federal government to remove the value and the tax being charged on diesel so as to reduce the amount spent by truck owners in transporting petrol.
Addressing journalists in Abuja, NOGASA President called on the Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (NIMASA) to stop all payments on petroleum products in dollar in order to ease transportation of petroleum products. Okore noted that considering the problems associated with the removal of fuel subsidy, it has become imperative for government to do all within its power to alleviate the suffering of oil and gas suppliers, adding that there is need to address the country's exchange rate crisis as it is making it difficult to import petroleum products.
Removing of subsidy. We support the removal of subsidy last year when Mr. President removed the subsidy. We supported it. To today we support it. But the system is not working well. Anytime dollar increases, the diesel increases that amount, which is wrong. We're facing too. Because there's no reason for you to be trading on dollar in the first instance. You don't need dollar. You need naira. Naira is strong. It's a big country, a strong country.
He further called on the federal government to declare a state of emergency on refinery, saying there is need to tackle unending delay in their takeoff, urging the government to fix a price for the dollar regardless of the inflow.
Problem that is holding most of these refineries, modular refineries, to come up full capacity is this exchange rate. So the answer to it is that the government should come out and tell Nigerians, this is how much dollar is. Not this window, or whatever they call it on the radio and the TV, window, forest, or whatever. Let Nigeria, let the government come out and say, 500 naira to a dollar, or 200 naira to a dollar, whatever rate that they come out with, they should stand. Whether the black market is going 1 billion naira, it should not bother Nigeria. Let them come and fix. One, them peg it 750 naira as they said in their budget, so that work with 750, and then the crude oil that will be sold to Nigerians, I mean the Nigerian refineries, modular refineries, will be sold at 750 naira per dollar. Convert it, and they will pay in dollar. I will pay in naira. Sorry.
The association further appealed to the government to intervene in fixing the deplorable condition of roads in the country, following the flooding that has affected some section of the road.
is that we concentrate on road to reduce the rate that we maintain our trucks, vehicles in Nigeria. You are talking about the dollar. You would agree with me that 70% of our dollar go to spare parts. And these spare parts are vehicle spare parts. And it's dollar that is going. You are now asking, where is this dollar going? Where it is? No, it's not oil. If you fix the road, and the road is good, vehicle will spend like 10 years, no spare parts.
Nogusa, however, urged the federal government to reintroduce and strengthen Petroleum Equalization Fund to enable marketers recoup and reinvest their funds for the benefit of the industry and the economy. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The National Bureau of Statistics says 11.94 billion liters of premium motor spirit petrol were imported in the first half of 2023. The NBS stated this in its petroleum product distribution statistics for the half-year 2023 released in Abuja. The report said the figure of 11.94 billion liters of PMS reported in the first half of 2023 amounted to an increase of 3.29% compared to the 11.56 billion liters recorded in the first half of 2022. It noted that the 2.83 billion liters of automotive gas oil, argo, also known as diesel, were imported in the first half of 2023. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says the average price of a liter of kerosene dropped from 1,362 naira 27 kobo in December 2023 to 1,329 naira 53 kobo in January 2024. This is contained in the Bureau's Kerosene Price Watch for January 2024 released in Abuja. The report said the January price represented a 2.40% decrease compared to what obtained in December. The NBS said the average price per liter of kerosene increased on a year-on-year basis by 15.27% from 1,153 naira 40 kobo recorded in January 2023 to 1,322 naira 53 kobo in January 2024. On state profile analysis, the report shows that Kaduna recorded the highest average price of 1,833 naira 33 kobo per liter of kerosene in January, followed by Benue at 1,766 naira 67 kobo and Niger State at 1,703 naira 70 kobo. And rapidly top developers in the built industry have rejected the agreement reached between the federal government and the cement manufacturers. At the meeting, it was resolved that the prices of cement will be reduced to between 7,000 naira and 8,000 naira. The president of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Dr. Aliyu Wamako, said the reduction was not good for the economy. Cement manufacturers had on Monday agreed to sell a 50 kg bag of cement at a retail price between 7,000 naira and 8,000 naira depending on the location nationwide. And that's how we call it a wrap on the news cycle. I am Anthony Momodu saying thank you for watching and see you again.